Again, we've been listening in to some of the hearing here. We heard from Sean Joyce, James Cole there, General Alexander, Robert Litt as well, General Counsel to the Director of National Intelligence as well. Taegan Goddard's been listening in. Judd Legum has been listening in as well. Our agenda panel on this Tuesday. Judd, let me bring you back in here. It seems as if, based on some of the questioning, some of the follow-up questioning as well, and even the tone to a certain extent inside that hearing room, that some of this is designed, at least in part, to be a direct response to some of the things that we found over the past week or so with regards to Mr. Snowden.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they're trying to do is say, look, this is a useful program. We are disrupting terrorist plots. I think it was interesting when you get into the details of exactly what it is. They're not incredibly forthcoming. I think there's probably reasons for that. But I think in certain respects this misses the issue. I don't think anyone ever doubted that it's useful to have a database of every phone call that every American makes, and that would be a useful thing if you were trying to ferret out terrorists. The question is there a more limited way we could accomplish this, or a way we could accomplish this with more transparency and oversight? Because up until recently it was totally secret. So I think that this is probably going to be an effective tool for them politically, but I think then when you look back and look at the civil liberties issues involved, they remain, and I think there'll continue to be a debate in Congress about whether any adjustments need to be made to respond to this.
Taegan, how far will this hearing go, and perhaps other hearings as well in the future? How far will that go to help quiet some of the critics of these two programs?
Well, it really depends on how much information we get out of these hearings. I mean, I think Judd is absolutely right in terms of questioning what's happening. If every American, for instance, hypothetically, were tagged with a GPS device and we could track their location at all times, there's no doubt you could thwart terrorist attempts, other bad activity, that type of thing. But Americans would be outraged at such a thing. The issue here, I think, is that, sure, there's this huge collection of phone records, but attached to those phone records is all sorts of metadata about locations and where these phone calls were made. And that's the type of data that most Americans don't realize is attached to their phone numbers, is attached to their cell phone. And the fact that the government has that in a big database, I think, is going to begin to concern a lot of people.
Taegan Goddard, Judd Legum, our agenda panel on this Tuesday. Big thanks to both of you.
Thanks. You.
Here's a